Think and grow rich. Cute idea, Napoleon Hill, but thinking is for poor people. The richest artist in the world stopped thinking a very long time ago. A banana taped to the wall, selling for millions, doesn't come from a think tank, so stop behaving like one and start copy pasting the best strategies of the top level artists in the world. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Dries. I've exhibited my art throughout the world, patented my work, won tons of awards. So let's go to the first lesson from the all-time greatest, Pablo Picasso. So Pablo is sitting in a bar and he's doodling on a napkin. Nothing too fancy, nothing important, just a regular scribble. And there's this woman that is watching and observing, and she's in awe. She can feel the talent. She can feel how amazing Picasso is. And after 6 minutes, Picasso is ready to throw the napkin away. He stands up and he goes to the bin. And right before he goes to the bin, the woman stops him and she says, "Wow, wait, wait. Are you going to throw that away? I mean, this is gorgeous. Can I please have it?" And Picasso looks at her and he says, "Sure. That will be $60,000. Now, she is shocked. Like, what are you say? $60,000? You were about to throw it away. It's trash for you. And you only spent 6 minutes making it." And Picasso replies, "Well, it only took me 6 minutes to make, but a lifetime to make it in 6 minutes." And he walks off. Now, this is a powerful lesson. We don't want to undervalue our work. We don't want to get paid for the time spent on the work. No, we want to get paid for the brand that we have been building and the skills that we have been building. And so we need to have some kind of price anchor. Below it, we don't go. There's no point in selling art for $300. Now, the second lesson is from Jeff Koons, and this one will be more applicable to people because a lot of people, especially at a later age, 50, 55, 60 or above, they spend their whole lives working a corporate slave job, and then all the way at the end, they give themselves a shot, finally, a shot at their dream. So for those people, this is going to be very applicable. Jeff Koons, in the 80s, he is sitting on a chair in front of a computer on a desk in Wall Street. And he's buying and selling stuff, some broker, trader thing. And at that time, Wall Street is not a loved place. People think that Wall Street people are just in it for the money. They don't know what life is all about, just in it for the money. And Jeff Koons he wants more than this. He wants to be remembered. He wants to become an artist. This is his dream. There's just one problem. He can't draw, he can't sculpt, he can't make art. In fact, he has never made art, ever. And so, this is a problem. What does he do? At the end of his job, at 6 he stops and then he goes home to the Soho loft. And what does he do there? He plays around with vacuum cleaners. He's making art pieces with vacuum cleaners, like some kitschy type of things. Now at this time, all of his friends are spending the money on watches, on booze, on girls, and he's sitting there spending it on vacuum cleaners. I'm sure he was very doubtful of his position at that time. And so the first exhibition comes. He's a little bit nervous. He's a little bit stressed out. This is what he has spent his time on and his money on and everything he had his sleep on. And during the opening weekend, the critiques come in. People are laughing with him. They are looking at the art and they're saying like, this is just vacuum cleaners in a box. What is this? This is not a real artist, they say. And Jeff Koons hears the critique and he's a little bit, well, he's touched by it. Of course it hurts. Of course it hurts to hear things like this. And it would take many years of this type of critique, of this type of lack of acceptance before his art would start selling for tens of millions of dollars. What Jeff Koons understood here, unlike what a lot of people don't understand, is that if you want to chase something, if you have a dream, you have to take all of your time, late nights, all of your money, and you have to put it in the dream. You actually have to invest in the thing that you believe in. You have to put your money and your time down. He was spending thousands of dollars on very expensive vacuum cleaners just for one piece of installation, then thousands of dollars more for another, etc., etc., etc. And so This is what people should be doing. As early as possible, you invest in yourself. Before we go to the third story, if you haven't subscribed yet, perhaps you can do that. If you haven't subscribed to the newsletter yet, what are you waiting for? Third lesson comes from Damian Hurst, potentially the most powerful artist at this time, at this very moment. It's 2008, and Damien is going to try and do something that no artist has ever done. He is going to sell directly at auction at Sotheby's without the galleries, just bypassing the galleries altogether. There's just one problem. Right before the auction would go on, after years of preparing, after developing a completely new body of work, something happens. The 2008 financial crash. And so now suddenly people don't have money anymore, especially not for luxury goods that they don't actually need. And so Damien Hurst is in agonizing stress. He couldn't have predicted this. He's thinking about blowing the whole thing off, but the contracts have been signed. The years of preparation has been done. He can't just blow it off. And so he has to come up with a plan. Not to mention, if this fails, the price of his art goes down. All of the collectors will lose trust in him. The past collectors, the future collectors, and no artist has ever survived a collapse in trust like that. So this is the breaking point. He either writes history or will be forgotten for eternity. So he has to come up with a plan. And he comes up with the following plan. He first signs a deal with Sotheby's to waiver their commission, waiver their cut that they get, or at least a large portion of that. This is unseen. So how you do that? I don't actually know. Unseen stuff. Then second, he builds a pricing ladder where he's not going to sell only $1 million artworks or £1 million artworks. He's also going to sell smaller spot paintings, smaller spin paintings for cheaper price points so that anyone, even beginners collectors, can participate in the show. Because nobody's going to start collecting at the $1 million price point. And so with this pricing ladder, his renegotiated deal with Sotheby's, the auction goes off. Damien is pacing back and forth behind the curtain. His heart is pounding in his chest as the first lots go off. And the hammers, they fall down. And the blades, I don't know how you, the paddle boards, they go up. And things are being sold rapidly. $1 million price points, shark in formaldehyde for millions of dollars. The first day, absolute success. People are applauding. Damien knows what is happening. All the millionaires and billionaires in the audience know what's happening. After the second day, the auction final price point is £111 million during the financial crash of 2008. Now, the two important elements here. Of course, number one, you don't actually need galleries. You don't need the institutions anymore. You don't need the gatekeepers anymore. Damien is showing that. And so what are you going to do? Well, you obviously buy the artist formula, a formula that I've developed where you can win as an artist independently without the gatekeepers, or the YouTube Millionaire program that I've developed and recently launched. These things will help you avoid the gatekeepers and finally chase those dreams. The second thing that is very important here is building that pricing ladder at any level of your artistic career. This works all the way on the top, as he has proven, as well as all the way down at the bottom. So for your next series, you have to make sure that you allow prints to also be printed and sold for a couple of €100, for example, so that a low entry point is possible. And with that low entry point, you capture collectors, beginner collectors. You don't make money on the $100 prints, but you establish a relationship with those collectors, and then many years later, they can buy your original art. But you first have to establish that relationship. Now, in order to make this video complete, we obviously have to talk about establishing that relationship, talk about how you can understand collectors, because the game in the art world is very simple. Whoever understands collectors best wins. That's why Damien won. So we should talk about that. But we're not going to do that, predominantly because I already did in a video called I Studied 1,000+ Collectors Create Art Collectors Want to Buy. Don't forget the artist formula. That's it. Get the hell out of here.